What's up and welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. There's a million YouTube car builds out there. So today I want to do a little video highlighting some of my favorites over the years. Let's get right into it. Starting off with a little bit of a throwback, Corbin Goodwin's Zero Fucks Given RX-7. This RX-7 was made famous by Matt Farah's old show Tuned on The Drive. I believe Matt Farah referred to this thing as super sketchy, but also it would absolutely dominate in a Lemons race if it was cheap enough to actually enter. What made this RX-7 really special is the absolute zero effort put into making the body even look remotely presentable in any scenario, with paint fading, rust showing, plywood used as a front chin spoiler, interior ripped up, and the car looking like general garbage. But at the same time, you'd want suspension work done, fat sticky tires all the way around, bigger brakes, and a Mustang drivetrain swap that came from an old Fox body. Before making this video, I went and did a little bit of research into it and just kind of rediscover the car a little bit. To discover that this video came out 9 years ago and it still lives in my mind as this kind of really cool car from the internet. That's why it's made this list. Up next, you got That Dude in Blue's Smurf 5-liter Mustang. For those who don't know, Smurf is a heavily modified S197 Mustang with a big supercharger on it, making around 700 horsepower to the wheels. Now, a lot of car YouTubers have a lot of different cars throughout their career, but Smurf's one of these really cool ones. For as long as I've been following That Dude in Blue, Smurf's always been there. And recently, That Dude in Blue did a video highlighting the 10th anniversary of his time owning Smurf. The ups, the downs, how much he loves it, what it means to him, and the fact that this car will be a constant with his channel and with his life, which I found just unbelievably cool. Love the car. Next up, David Freiberger's Roadkill 1968 Dodge Charger known as General Mayhem. Now, General Mayhem's had a couple different variations, one of them being a nitrous-injected Hellcat-powered drag car. For those who haven't seen the video, the plan was to get the car, tear it apart, pull a 440 out of the motorhome, swap it in, and get it running in a weekend. And much like in Roadkill tradition, that didn't go as smoothly as planned. General Mayhem was a rolling shell. It had nothing in it. It was just a solid body of a 68 Dodge Charger. What started at 3 days ended up turning into 6 months, but at the end of it they had this super cool 440 powered mismatched body panel Mad Max 68 Charger, which is now known as the legendary General Mayhem. Now, when I think of the General Mayhem, I think of the 440 powered, very broken car that was drifting through dirt, mud, water, putting smiles on everyone's faces. And this car's always stuck with me because it was kind of the first car I ever saw where it didn't need to look pretty. It didn't need to be finished. It didn't need to have a $40,000 paint job or a cool wrap to look cool. It could look ratty and still look super, super cool. And that's why it's made this list. Up next, and kind of a recent one, Tavarish's McLaren 675 Longtail. That's probably the most recent build on the list, and I found this build particularly so cool because this car was pretty much written off. It was a complete wreck. There was no body panel that's really savable, and within about a year and a half, whatever it was, he pulled it together and made this thing absolutely beautiful. This needed everything. It needed framework, it needed chassis work, it needed engine and transmission work, it needed carbon fiber reweaved. And what McLaren said was impossible, he pulled off, which is unbelievable. Just seeing how the car started and where it is now, going from a car that McLaren deemed written off to a legit SEMA quality show car is unbelievable, and yeah, hats off to him for pulling it off. And to wrap up this list, the most powerful car in the list, the craziest sounding car in this list, and the fastest car in the list, Rob Daum's 4-rotor RX-7. Now, for those who don't know, this is a car that Rob Dahm built himself. It was a 5-year project to make this all-wheel drive 4-rotor RX-7, and he made an absolute monster of it. Which, if you haven't looked this car up, go out and just look up anything to do with Rob Dahm's 4-rotor RX-7. Especially his race on Hoonagin, where he did this versus that between his 4-rotor RX-7 and the Hoonagin Mustang. Between sounding like this and be one of the very few cars to be a real threat towards the Hoonagin Mustang, what Rob Dahm built is a completely insane engineering marvel. So that's 5 of my favorite YouTube car builds, but I'd love to know, what are some of your favorites? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. You can find me on Instagram and occasionally TikTok, and I'll see you later.